All right. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming to the school board tonight. It's good to see familiar faces, new faces, smiling faces. Good to see all that. Thank you so much for coming. All right. We'll begin tonight's meeting. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Miss Caitlin Luster's here to lead the pledge. Thank you. Please come forward. Thank you for doing this. Absolutely.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance
to the
flag
of the
United States
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, God, for this day. We thank you for many blessings you've given us. We pray now, Lord, that you will help us when we do the work of the people regarding the discernment of the greatest earthly resource. We thank you for the opportunity. Pray that you will bless us, give us wisdom and discernment in all things. We ask this. Amen. Thank you. Before you need a approval of the motion for agenda approval tonight. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, Dr. Blevins, to approve the board agenda before you. Second? Second, Mr. Wagner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Approval of the open session minutes for September 25th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? So moved. Mr. Wagner, second by Mr. Blackburn. All in favor say aye.
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 All right, thank you. And then we need approval of the special called open session minutes, September 27th of 2023. Motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Second by Dr. Blevins. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Hear none opposed, motion carries. All right, good news. Well, the first good news is we have Dr. Steve Hall with us tonight. And first board meeting as the new superintendent. Welcome aboard. And, you know, those that come to regular board meetings, you might notice that the board members, we made an extra effort to dress a little bit. So, no, we didn't go to a funeral beforehand. We actually came to take some pictures. And, you know, we welcome Dr. Hall and we appreciate him being here with us tonight. So, and it's good to have Miss Allie with us as well, advising us, keeping us in the lanes where we need to be. We thank her for coming as well. All right. So more good news. Dr. Hall is going to recognize the National Principals Month. Dr. Hall.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I'm going to recognize our principals here in Elkin City Schools tonight. October is National Principals Month, and we sure are thankful for all of our principals. First up is Miss Emily Rycroft. I believe I saw her earlier from Elkin Elementary School. She's in the back there. And then Dr. Jennifer Hall. She's at Elkin Middle School. Miss Amanda Burton from Elkin High School. Mr. Heath Foster. He's the principal at the Global E Learning Academy. And I spoke with Mr. Foster. He is at the soccer match this evening. We also have Miss Emma Hatfield-Sidden. She is at the Academy in Elkin. It's so good to see you all here tonight. We do appreciate everything you do day in and day out for our students, their success. You set the bar high, and we sure do appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Dr. Hall, welcome aboard. Thank you also the principals. Thank you so very much. Wonderful leaders in our school system. All right. Next on the agenda is the public forum. And we have a couple of people that have signed up to speak. We thank you for coming. Participation. We've got Miss Mary Johnson. Thank you, Miss Johnson. Good to see you again. Come forward. All right. And just state your name. And I think we've got, yeah, just go ahead. That's fine.
My full name is Mary Dominica Gardner Johnson. So good evening, and I appreciate the board allowing me time to speak. My son Gardner is in first grade at EES, and recently a form came home promoting the Good News Club. And while I'm aware that it says this is not activity of the school or the school district on this form, it is being held within the school, which implies the school board condones this club. My questions about this situation are as follows. Has everyone involved in this organization undergone a background check performed by Elkin City Schools Administrative Office? How is this being presented to children? Are they made to feel ashamed or left out because their parents don't want them to attend because they do not agree with Pleasant Hill Baptist Church ideology? And how will you handle other religious organizations asking to use the Elkin City Schools facilities? Religion and belief systems are very personal, and parents and guardians are responsible for leading their children to grow up to be responsible, considerate members of society. One does not need religion to be a good person, but if you find comfort in your belief, and that helps guide you to be a good person, that is great. But to act like the only way to be a good person is to follow a Protestant belief system is not acceptable. I was raised Catholic, and my two favorite books from the Bible are the Book of Wisdom and the Book of Sirach, which are not even included in the King James Version of the Bible. So how, for our Catholic students, do we reconcile that this group is being led by a Southern Baptist church whose Bible doesn't even have all the books that their Bible does? I'm also married to Reverend Dr. William Lee Johnson's sons, Blake. So I have spent a fair amount of time in the First Baptist Church of Elkin, where we are still members. I'd like to think I have a well-rounded and open-minded view of faith that was instilled to me by my parents and built onto in my relationship with my father-in-law. My kids have questions about religion and the Bible, and much rather ask my father-in-law, who has a PhD in the subject matter, than rely on the interpretation from someone they don't know. While in this, I know this group is optional, I have strong concerns about how this rhetoric will be spread through the school by kids going to this group. If parents want their kids to participate in activities like this, then they can take them to churches on Wednesdays and Sundays to participate in Bible studies. I just don't think a public school system is the appropriate setting for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Thank you for your words. All right. Let's see. We have another person that signed up. It's Casey Mathis. Cassie, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Please come forward. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Living the dream.
My name. Yes, thank you. My name, of course, is Cassie Mathis.
Yes.
I'm here because I've been wondering what steps might be taken by the school system to prevent guns and other weapons from being brought on campus. That's really why I'm here.
That's great. That's a great question, and we are working on that. You know, one of the things that we all have in common is that we believe in school safety, and you know, we got a new superintendent, and that's one of his primary jobs. Mm-hmm. We're going to work very hard on that, diligently to do that.
If I may add one question onto it.
Yes, absolutely.
One thing that I've been informed of is that it may be the responsibility of students' families to pay for something like metal detectors. And I don't know if that's true, or if it is, why that would be the case.
I've not heard that. Okay. So, you know, we hear a lot of things, small town. We're going to do everything we can to protect our students. I promise you.
That actually came from when I called the school for information.
Okay. Well, we're going to do all we can to protect our kids from school violence. We're not going to. School safety is a top priority, the top priority for our schools, and we'll do that. And so, if you want to, leave your information, Dr. Hall will get back with you on some details of things. Okay,
will do,
because that's important.
Will do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else? The beauty of being the chairman, I can go rogue. Because I want somebody, if anybody wants to talk, I want you to, you know, say what's on your heart and on your mind. Important. It's a local school system. I mean, it's your school system. Our kids, your kids. It's important. I appreciate both the comments that we've heard tonight. They're important. Anybody online? No? Okay. One once. Twice, 3 times. Okay. All right. Public forum is closed now. Hearing nothing else. The next segment of our agenda is the public information. Dr. Hall, policy first readings of revised policies.
Yes, sir. Before you have policies, and these are also stemming from Senate Bill 49 that was passed during the summer. There's some adjustments to these policies. The first one is policy 1310 /4002. That is concerning parental involvement. I believe Britt is pulling those up for us. As you can see, the red sections are things that were tweaked or added with these changes.
The state.
The state. Yes, ma'am. Sure. And
Yeah, Dr. Hall, may I
yes, ma'am.
interrupt right now?
Yes, ma'am.
A question, as now we're starting to learn that we can kind of mold these policies. I'm not talking to this. Somewhat to what we are wanting. I'm just curious on page, well, does it show pages on there? I don't know, but page 3 of 13, it talked about parent participation at schools. And in it just, there's a lot of extra language that I'm just curious. So I guess I'm going to throw it back to you to research.
Okay.
But when it talks about school improvement teams, school media and technology advisory committees, and the business advisory council, and the school health advisory council, I'm just curious verbiage wise, if we need all that in there. Do we have all these groups? Sometimes I look at these policies and think, does this even apply to us?
Great question. And you're right. This does come from the state, and some of the things and verbiage they put in there apply maybe to some districts. We have the leeway working with Miss Allie that we can clean some of that up and just do a blanket statement if we wanted, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Allie, and just say committees or advisory councils or et cetera. Yes.
And then on page 13, let's see, looking at, I don't know, I'm just going to say E, procedures for parental involvement in student health. Under 5, it's instruction on gender identity, sexual activity, and sexuality. And I'm just curious what that necessarily all entails. It says kindergarten through 4th grade, but to me, I know that we do sex ed and all of those things. But beyond that, I'm not really sure what else we would need beyond that for our kids. I feel like that could say kindergarten through 12th grade. I would just make that recommendation.
Okay. Yes, we can look at that one as well. We do, by state law, offer the sex education within the schools. And that verbiage, again, was put forth by state school board association folks. So we can definitely look at that and condense that down again as well. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else on that one policy? We'll move to the next one. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Hall, continue.
Yes, sir. The next policy is policy 3210 that pertains to parental inspection of and objection to instructional materials. And again, same as before, you can see the red areas, things they struck out and changed, and then the other verbiage at the bottom there they've added in that is underlined.
Any questions on this policy? Let me make just a note here for the general public that may not. The school board, and this goes to Mary's question, the School Board Association sends us updates to these policies based on different things, and they vet them through different ways that they have. But ultimately, it comes down to this board's authority, and that's why we have a first reading like what we're doing tonight. And then these will be available. I mean, we want public comment on these. You can go online and look at these, right? And I would encourage you to do that. You know, go to the website and look at these amendments and these policies and read them for yourselves. And then, you know, feel free to send comments to the board or Dr. Hall. I mean, that's what this is about, this process. So I would encourage you to go through them. If you have questions or comments about the policies, because, you know, there's a state policy, then there's their recommendations, but then we have to make it fit for our school system, and it's tailor-made for our local school system. And that's the goal of this board. So, you know, there are legal requirements that we have to go through, but there are areas, just as Jennifer has pointed out, we may or may not need certain things, and we may need other things, and so I'd encourage you to participate in this process, because that just makes us a stronger school system. Okay, continue on, Dr. Hall. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The next policy is policy 3540, and it's on the Comprehensive Health Education Program.
Any questions on that from the board?
I'm just going to say that it says as required by law and beginning in 6th grade. We don't do 6th grade, we do 7th grade. So again, just fitting it to fit our school system. Okay. We would want to do that. And again, though, above, I'd like to know, when we put sexual activity and sexuality, I mean, I know that when I was in college, I took human sexuality, gender studies, just different things like that. To me, that's what that's saying, that we aren't going to instruct that in the red from kindergarten to 4th grade, which is fine. But the most important thing is that we teach the reproductive health. You know, we go through all that, but beyond that, I don't think it's our job to teach all the other stuff, how to have, I'm not going to get into it here, but
understood.
You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
So again, I'm not sure why that would only go through 4th grade. I would say, because all those classes are available. There's plenty of things online on TikTok if people are really, and parents can talk about it as well with their kids. I think that should say kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments?
I would concur with Ms. Klein-Hexel on that. We're being detracted from the primary purpose of public education.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Hall.
Okay. The next policy is 4335 on criminal behavior.
Any questions from the board on this policy?
No questions. I would just like to state that at the bottom, the superintendent must inform the board of any such reports. We need to make that say something like, what did we say, Allie?
Yep.
Like within the 24-hour period. I think whatever it said for principals to contact you, same.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Moving to the next policy, 4720, surveys of students.
Looking at B, where it says that it will, I don't know where you are. Under 2. There you go. On B.
Letter B. Right there.
Yeah, it's just talking about, it says before any student well-being questionnaire or health screening form is administered to students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. And it just talks about giving the information to the parent. Again, I don't care what my grade, what grade my child is in. If they're in 5th grade, 6th grade, I still want to know what they're being questioned about or what they're being screened on. So I think that would be a good place again to put
K-12.
12.
Okay.
and Dr. Hall, if I may, I think the board, or at least I would, but I think the board would as well, appreciate copies of all of these questionnaires that are
beforehand,
the elementary,
okay,
middle, and high school, so that we can be updated with everything that's being asked.
yes, sir.
All right, any other comments on that policy?
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Hall.
The next policy for review is 6120, and that concerns student health services.
Any questions? Hearing none, continue, Dr. Hall.
Yes, sir. The last policy before you for review is policy 7300, and that involves staff responsibilities.
Any questions, comments? All right, hearing none. And like I would say, these policies then will sit for 30 days. Feel free to go online and look at it. I would encourage you to go online, look, read them for yourself, direct any comments toward Dr. Hall. And so we want to make sure that then we'll bring these up, amended or whatever we need to do, and then we'll vote on them at the next board meeting, which will be in December. Okay. All right. Any other comments on the first reading of revised policies? Look forward to everyone participating. All right. Next event, Dr. Steve Hall, Superintendent, comments.
Thank you, sir. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the warm welcome for myself and my family for the last 3 weeks. It's been a great 3 weeks as I've toured the schools, and I've been at Car Rider Line at each of our facilities at different points in the mornings, and just getting to meet the students as they're getting out of their cars, and parents as well. It's been a joy. Also been out in the community at different events and athletic events, and gotten to meet a lot of folks through that as well. And again, thank you for the warm welcome. As I go through each of the campuses, I've been noticing all the hard work that our students and teachers are doing in the classrooms. And I'm just amazed at what I've seen so far and all the hard work that goes into each day. It keeps you, I like to be out in the schools because I believe it keeps you connected. I don't like to sit behind the desk or in the office. I like to be out. And seeing those kids each day and their teachers, it brings me a lot of joy. I also want to mention that the new gym project is moving along very, very good, very well. And I'm sure our high school, middle school folks are patiently waiting for that to open. But it is progressing very nicely. And I've seen several emails come through from the contractor, and I believe we're on schedule as far as I can tell. And looking forward to that project opening. Also, wanted to say in the coming weeks, I have been these first 3 weeks meeting with all central office staff one-on-one, as well as all the administrators out in the buildings. I completed those meetings last Friday, and that was also very enlightening. I enjoyed sitting down with those folks and learning more about them and their families, and hopefully they learned a little bit more about me as well during those times. But it also gave me even greater insight on our school system here and what a great community it is. Growing up in Surrey County, I already knew what a great place Elkin was. Always heard that, and that has shone through in every one of these meetings. There's a reason that we are Elkin. That's the hashtag. It's proud. It shows a lot of pride in the community, and I love that. In the coming weeks, I'm going to continue with some other meetings. I'm going to also be putting together some advisory council groups. These will be superintendent advisory council groups. I'm going to put together a student advisory council, a teacher advisory council, a support staff advisory council, as well as parents as well. I feel these are important. I want to hear what everybody's got to say. I want feedback. And these will be meetings with the superintendent. I'll sit down with those groups, and it'll be just an informal conversation, and we'll do those meetings quarterly. I'll be putting out more information soon on those and how we'll be putting those together, but they'll be open to everyone. Miss Amanda Burton has graciously allowed me to use her facility here for the parent meeting, because I figure that will be our largest group, or I'm hoping that it will be. I want to keep folks involved. I want to encourage them to be involved with our school system and support it. I want to be transparent, and what better way than to bring all those different groups together and give them a voice, sitting down with the superintendent and voicing their concerns, or maybe expressing some great things that are going on that I can bring to these meetings as well. But I'm looking forward to putting those groups together and hearing from everybody within our school system. And that is the last superintendent update or comment that I have. Appreciate you being here again. And if anyone has questions or concerns, I have an open door policy, and I've told all of the staff that. Feel free to reach out, come by, call, and we'll sit down and chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. We appreciate it. Welcome. And thank you for those words. All right. Now we'll go to the action items part of the agenda. Ms. Alice. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Miss Allison had a prior engagement.
Okay.
And so she gave me the calendar updates.
Okay.
And I have them here. Monday, September 25th was changed from a regular student day to an optional teacher work day, and that was due to the power outage. Thursday, September 28th was changed from a regular student day to an optional teacher work day, and that was due to the threats against the school. So those have been updated on the calendar. Britt has it up there and should be available on the website as well.
All right. So we need a motion to approve this updated calendar. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Jennifer, is there a second? Second, Mr. Wagner. Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Hall.
Thank you.
Personnel report for October 23rd, 2023. That's the one we did today. And so I appreciate your coming and due diligence with the personnel that we've talked about today. Need a motion to approve that report. Thank you, Mr. Blackburn. That's a motion by Mr. Blackburn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. Blevins. Any all in favor, say aye. Thank you, Miss Allie. All right. All opposed? Hearing none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Announcements. Here we go. Friday, November 10th is Veterans Day, the holiday. Please support the veterans. Thank you so much, veterans. We appreciate what you do. They usually have a great veterans thing down at the park there in Elkin. I'd encourage you to attend that if you can. That's a great thing. Wednesday, November 22nd, optional work day. Thursday and Friday, November 23rd, 24th is the Thanksgiving holiday. And so we recognize that. And our next scheduled board meeting will be Monday, November the 4th, will be our regular scheduled board meeting. And for those that may not know, over the years, we have, because of Thanksgiving, being that fourth Thursday, we traditionally don't have a board meeting in November. We have one at the end of October, and then we go back to the 1st of December because we typically don't have one at the end of December for the Christmas holiday. So we kind of do it in the middle there. And so that's more of a logistic thing, and with school being out and that kind of thing too. But so just for your information, next board meeting Monday, December 4th, we'll be here 6 o'clock. All right. Any other board what am I trying to say? Any other thing before the board? Any member would like to speak to the public or anything on your heart or mind tonight?
I would like to say, unfortunately, there's not a lot of people here to hear it, but we had a group come in to our school system on October 10th. They were called Fulbright TEA. And I was able to participate at the elementary level. And I know, though, that the middle school and high school had it as well. But it was just a really, really neat thing to see. We had, there were 12 different groups from 12 different countries that came in. And it was almost, for lack of a better word, kind of like a science fair where everybody took their bulletin, their, what do you call it? The display boards. Yeah. And had information from all the different countries, and each person that spoke was from that country, and they were brought in, and it was done through, I believe, App State. Is that right, ladies in the back? Yeah. And it was just very engaging. Kids got to meet them, got to ask questions, got to see and feel a lot of the things that these people brought over from their own countries. And I just thought it's so neat that as a school system, we just do a really good job. I think we're getting better every year. And I'm not sure if Kayla Simmons was in charge of that. Okay, she is. I want to give props where props are due. Kayla was in charge of that. And just a really great way for kids to see the world, because I know a lot of them may never even leave Elkin. But it was really neat. So thank you, Kayla, and our school system for doing that. It was just really well done.
All right. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Blackburn.
I just want to reassure. So this is a burden of mine. Just to think that student, someone could be wounded, killed, just beyond belief. And we are strongly weighing all options to do whatever we can to make this school system safe. Remember a day. Remember a day. We never thought about these things, but we're living in a different time. And I just want to assure the public that the board is very concerned about this. I mean, we've had 3 threats in this calendar year. We've had 2 shutdowns, and that's too many. And 3 threats too many, and 2 shutdowns too many. And so we're working. We're very conscientious and appreciate the remarks.
May I ask a follow-up question on that?
Yes.
As far as what other options or what options are being considered?
What I would say is we're going to consider all options, and that can be a lot of different forms. I would say, speak to Dr. Hall about the specifics of it. But I assure you that everyone in this room takes safety seriously, and there's nothing more important to us as a community and a school board than the safety of our employees and our kids. I mean, that's the advantage of being a small town school system. We, good or bad, we know each other, and we have disagreements, but really you want to circle the wagon, safety will do that. And we really all believe in safety of all the employees and all the kids, and we will do what it takes. And I think, I know I speak for the whole board and the community, and we're going to do that. And we are considering a lot of options. I'll give you an example. My son is a student at Wake Forest. They have a clear bag policy. And I like that because he has a clear bag on his back and you can see everything. I mean, that's just one thing. So there's several things that we can do and that we will do to ensure the safety of our kids. And Dr. Hall will get in touch with you, okay, about that.
How do we
Right. And that's one of the things. That's what I'm saying. It's one of many solutions. You know, they do that at the Wake Forest. We may not do that here. I don't know, but certainly that's something we got to talk about. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's right. And so that's why we want input, right? That's why we want input. Because obviously, you know, I raised 3 boys. It was a locker room. Okay. So yeah, it's important. Absolutely. So direct your questions, Dr. Hall, but I just want to say as a blanket statement, this board takes seriously safety, and we will do what it takes to provide safety for our kids and our employees, because we got the best employees in the country. I know, because I've been around the country. I've seen it. I sleep in those school board meetings because they're all worrying about things, and we don't have a problem because, you know, we're a very close-knit bunch. So, but thank you. Thank you. Yes. I think it's going to be an ongoing thing. I think it's going to be ongoing. Just like you know, I like the clear bag idea, and then Mary, I mean, that's going to be so I don't think there's a timeline. I think safety is something that you deal with every day, and then we talk about it and we implement, we try and we discuss. And so I don't know about you know, in the world that we live in, I'm not sure that, you know, I don't know that we ever feel too safe. So I think it's going to be an ongoing process. That's a good question, but believe me, it's a priority. Any other questions? I know I'm running rogue here. It's not a typical thing. These are my people. I mean, I want to be transparent. I love you, Miss my people. Okay. No, please. You don't have a microphone.
Goodness for that. School safety plans. If you're ever wondering where are the agenda items and why don't we see this, school safety discussions are not public session discussions intentionally to help guard the confidentiality of school safety plans, right? So you're not necessarily going to see a full open discussion on that because they are intended to be protected by law. In the event that they were to fall into, you know, unsavory hands. However, you might see something like a policy change about what screenings might happen coming to school. But if you're ever looking for the district school safety plan, you're not going to find it. It's not public, but you can search the policies to see what safety responses are already part of school policy. And then if you want to make any comments or suggestions, email those to Dr. Hall and he can bring those back to the board as recommended changes to policies. But you're not going to likely see a full open discussion because they're intended to be confidential. If that helps allay any questions about why you're hearing more.
You don't want to reveal all of your secrets to everyone so they know the loopholes and can bypass those things, which will potentially bring greater damage to person.
Go ahead, Larry.
One last thing. I heard a superintendent talking on violence in schools, and he was talking about there's not an end-all answer to it. It's something that is continuously looked at and revised every single day because of a new situation that comes up every single day or every single week or every single month. But I would agree with Dr. Branniger in the fact that this board is looking at every avenue to make it the safest possible school system in the state of North Carolina.
Right. And I would say, you know, to Allie's point, just because you don't see all the specific details and we don't make that public, we want and value your comments because you'll have perspectives that people may not have. So please come to Dr. Hall, give your comments, give your feedback, because it's important. This is your school system. And so we value your input. We need your input on all things, policies, safety, those things. All right. Any other thing? I'll get off the box.
Well, this is kind of off the box. It doesn't pertain to school board as such, but it pertains to our community. And I want to give a shout out to our doctors, medical staff, and personnel. We've got some wonderful people here, and especially Dr. Jonathan Snyder, who operated on me Friday and assured my sweetheart back there that I would be able to make this board meeting. Just wonderfully professional, caring, compassionate. We've got and most of y'all are involved with these doctors, and your children will be. And we have much to be thankful for with the medical staff and professionals in our community. So I said what I said, Dr. Snyder. So
all right,
great physician and surgeon.
We need a motion to adjourn. Any other business before the school board? Hearing none. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Kleinex. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Wagner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, thank you very much. Have a great evening. Thank you for coming.